Hey skiers, it's Bob from skiessentials.com.
And I'm Emily.
Emily and I have a really good one for you today. This is a women's low, like 80 to 86, so low to mid 80s women's ski comparison. And there's a lot of good stuff in here, not just from a value perspective, but from a performance and versatility aspect as well. This is kind of an overlooked grouping, I think, and we were talking about it earlier, like you don't normally find yourself on a pair of these skis, but it's kind of easy to see the attraction and kind of the importance of this group just in the ski industry as a whole. You know, if we're being real with ourselves, most skiers are looking for, spend most of their time on groomed terrain, and I think that that's really where these skis shine. I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think they tend to get overlooked by the more soft snow focused skis, the wider options. But we have a really nice array of versatility up here. We have, you know, between wider carving skis to narrower all mountain skis.
Yeah.
And like you said, majority of time is spent on piste and on groomers. So you really get a nice collection of options up here that you can choose from, and they're not all necessarily front side focused skis.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. There's a good mix here for sure. We do have them organized by width, by waist width, and then we also have some pricing available to kind of pass along to you. So interestingly, we kind of start with the narrowest yet most expensive by a good margin here. This is the Stockli Nela 80, the narrowest of this Nela series. And really what catches our eye about this thing is just the quality and the precision of the construction. So having this metal, this Titech top sheet really goes a long way in making the ski reactive to each and every bit of, you know, input that you're putting into the ski. It's $1,049. I mean, you're going to be able to get multiple pairs of skis up here for the price of one of these. But the quality and the precision with which they put these things together is pretty awesome and noticeable. You know, lightweight, you know, has a nice even flex to it. I can put ours on the scale here. But really you just feel the quality and like the silence of this ski come through. And I think that that's a huge bonus for a lot of skiers.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Stockli really focuses on premium quality.
Yeah.
And that's where the price comes in. But just a really solid, responsive ski. Really kind of blends precision and stability. So really great for anyone who wants, you know, that reliable smoothness and vibration, you know, elimination and just a great on-piste ski.
1,400 grams here. You know, this is the 157. So pretty light, you know, we're sub 1,500 grams. Even for having metal in this thing, and I think that's part of the reason that Stockli gets away with that pricing structure they have. But you know, certainly feels like a premium model to me.
Absolutely.
And just kind of has that nice front side focused tail, but narrow all mountain. I would say really fits in that category. But really smooth cruiser for sure.
Absolutely.
And it's kind of funny going to the other end here in terms of value. This is a Salomon Stance W80, $499.95. You do get a system binding with this as well, so you're really kind of halving the price of the Nela. Is it twice as bad of a ski? Like, no chance. You know, people are going to be really happy on this thing. Does have metal underfoot and has carbon stringers in the tips and tails. And just a light, really maneuverable option for skiers that spend most of their time on groomed terrain, but looking for a little bit wider bodied of a ski.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the construction of this ski and the shape and profile really appeal to a wide range of skiers. I mean, you have that extra, you know, edge hold and grip and stability underfoot from the metal placement, and then the tips and tails, you know, you have a little bit more play, and so it's a lower swing weight, just a really approachable, well-rounded ski.
Yeah, and we do have this on our site available with a package as well. So like even taking that, you know, that value to the next level, you can get these skis and bindings with boots and poles for, you know, not a whole lot more than just the skis. With the plate on here, it is 1,800 grams. You know, definitely taking into account that. Most of that structure is underfoot, like Emily was saying, with the metal, and really makes that swing weight just nice and easy. just a super well-rounded ski, and despite the fact that it's on the lower end of the price spectrum, does not mean that it's a lower quality product. It's, we've been pretty impressed with these Salomons over the years, and that Stance W8 is a good example of that.
Absolutely.
This is an interesting one. We kind of wanted to include this Head Core 85. They do have a different graphic and a different top sheet for 2023. We don't have them, but we do have a handful of these. If you've watched any of our bargain basement videos, we have had a bunch of cores in the past on here, and so I think it was reasonable to include this Core 85W. $389, so pretty good deal on this ski, and what you're getting is just the same overall quality of build. That Karuba wood core, 2 carbon laminates, does make this thing pretty stiff. They are putting that carbon in a shaped pattern, and anytime you're putting carbon in a 3D format, you're really stiffening the ski. But when we put it on the scale, 1,322 grams, I mean, it's a feather light, but really stiff. Like, what do you think about that combo?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty perfect place to be for an all-mountain front-side ski. I mean, you have that lightweight feel, so it's approachable and maneuverable. Definitely able to go off-piste and go into the trees and bumps if you're feeling that. But then that just really powerful, predictable responsiveness on groomers and firmer conditions can really take you around the whole mountain.
I agree with that 100%. I love how you said predictable, because it is like that true tip-to-tail, stiff, even, consistent flex. Yep. So there's no surprises here. It did make it to the 80 millimeter side of the wall. It's actually 81 underfoot. These skis are width dependent on size, so this is a shorter model. If you got into the 170, that thing would fall over on the true 85 millimeter side of the spectrum, so that's kind of why it's over on that side. It is narrower as it gets shorter, but really nice, fun, precise, reactive ski. Great value on this thing at $389. Pretty much a brand new ski model and technology. This one's kind of almost like an old standby at this point.
Yeah.
I feel like we've talked about the Black Pearl line for a whole, almost 10 years, it seems like.
Easy to talk about.
Yeah.
Lots to like about it.
Yeah, this is the Black Pearl 82, $599.95, so we are bumping up in the price a little bit. But as kind of the narrower version of the just ever-present Black Pearl 88, this 82 just takes the quickness to the next level. Really, really easy to ski. Doesn't really have that, top end gear of skis with more than, with multiple sheets of metal, but really easy to turn. They use true blend wood core in here, so it's a sophisticated ski. And they've just really done a great job with this Black Pearl model over the years, and I would say this 82 is a great example of that.
Yeah, very approachable, really fun and energetic, quick edge to edge. So for someone who spends most of their time on groomers and who wants, reliable edge grip and just overall stability through firm conditions, but then, confidence building, off-piste exploration is another major quality of the ski. I would recommend the ski to a lot of different skiers. I mean, beginners to intermediates will find it really approachable, but then intermediates and above can really have a lot of fun on this ski.
Totally, huge range.
Yep.
A little bit softer than the Head, but I would say similar in terms of just its consistency and predictability. I mean, it's a really, really confidence-inspiring ski. We hear that a lot from the 88. Just tons of customers, year after year.
Yeah.
They're like, this thing just makes me feel like a better skier.
Totally.
And that philosophy translates right down into this 82. I mean, you're only dropping 6 millimeters out of the waist, so it's not like you're going down a ton. Mm-hmm. It's a small change, but like you said, if you're spending most of your time on groomed terrain, that 82 underfoot with this all mountain inspired shape, I think is a good place to be. This being like the narrower version of a wider ski still keeps that all mountain versatility in mind, Whereas when we get to some of these upcoming skis that are wider versions of front side models, then it kind of tips the scale to more on-piste. So, you know, keep that in mind and feel free to reach out with questions about that. This category certainly like blurs that line between front side and all mountain.
Absolutely.
And I think this is another good example of that.
Yep.
This is a Black Crow's Divus or Divus, depending on where you're coming from. This is not the Birdie graphic or version, so similar to the head. You know, we just had to go a little bit out of character here. We do have the Birdie version online for sale. We just have it at our Killington location. Couldn't get it up for the video, but still, it's the same build, same shape, same everything, just a different top sheet and available graphics. One of the things that's really cool about this one is the H-shaped metal, so full width metal underfoot, and then it tapers to kind of like a fork shape, you know, the H in the front and then in the back, leaving the middle portions here metal free. So you get that blend, you know, the metal stops right about here. So the very front of this ski is going to be a lot more, you know, easy to turn while really good edge grip underfoot, which I think is a nice way to build a ski.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a perfect blend, I feel personally. And this ski is just really fun and lightweight, but it has that stiffness that you want that's not too fatiguing. So really approachable, and I would recommend the ski to someone who spends a lot of time on groomers but aren't looking for, you know, that front side domination necessarily. Right. They want to be able to go into the trees and bumps and just have fun all over the mountain and not, you know, take anything in particular too seriously.
Yeah.
You know, there's skis that are definitely more geared towards the, you know, the carving technique and just groomer, you know, focused performance. And this is just really another well-rounded ski.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. 1,580 grams. This is the 167. So we're still kind of in that light range. And like you were saying, without that, you know, just nice and easy swing weight, tips and tails, but still that really nice grip underfoot. So, you know, when you encounter icier conditions, more hard pack stuff, that metal underfoot really just kind of jumps to life.
Absolutely.
You know, having these arms over the edges, I think, is really a smart way to do it. We see a lot with frame skis, whether it's a fiberglass frame like in the Volkl Yumi, or more of a metal frame like we see in the higher end Kenja and Secret from Volkl. You know, this is Black Crow's taken version on that, and it's pretty effective in terms of getting that true tip to tail edge grip.
Yeah.
But yeah, super quick, really fun.
And overall just very versatile. Like,
yeah,
just the placement of the metal and leaving the tips and tails just a little bit softer. It really encourages and enhances that. You know, if you're pressing into the forebody of the ski, it just really responds nicely and allows for a little bit more playfulness.
You're paying for it a little bit though. $869.95 for this one. You know, Black Crow's is one of those companies that we've seen just kind of creeping up in price. It is a premium product, so you're getting the performance to match. But that is something to keep in mind. You know, it's definitely not a value-oriented ski, but there is a really nice, you know, blend of attributes that make it, you know, I'm not going to say it's not worth the money. You know, that's more up to you and your finances. But, you know, overall, it's a really strong ski that warrants that premium price.
And
tag.
depending on where you ski and the training conditions that you're primarily on, it could be a good daily driver. So you're investing in just a, everyday ski. So.
Yeah, the more you use it, the more value you're going to get.
Absolutely.
And we talk about that too with like shorter turning skis. Like you're getting more turn for your dollar.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. I like that.
Another version of a men's graphic. This is a Fischer RC One 82 GT. There is a women's graphic. It is the same build and comes in shorter sizes. Again, just didn't have the women's version available for video time here, but still a worthy ski and certainly falls more into that front side category. Anytime you're seeing this ski here with, you know, with the system binding, with 2 sheets of metal and has that more front side oriented shape. I mean, pretty squared off tail full of metal here. So lots of carving power. I would say this is one of the most ground oriented skis on the list.
Yep.
You know, we're getting more airy twin tippy style over here as we get a little wider. But for 82 underfoot and with metal, I think that this thing is about as strong and powerful as it gets for pretty much anything on this wall. We are seeing this one at $849.99 with the bindings, so a little bit better of a price point than Divus there. But what you're missing out in versatility on that, you're gaining in just pretty raw carving power on this one.
Absolutely. I mean, I would say for someone who doesn't want a dedicated race ski, but a more race-oriented ski, this ski is, I mean, it's fantastic for what you're getting. I mean, it's a really quality ski, like you said, and it has a really high performance ceiling. I mean, you have really strong edge grip, carving technique, and then you have the shape and profile is just, a lot of business in the tail, so you have a really strong finish and, laying really deep, clean turns on groomers. I mean, they're fantastic and super stable and powerful. Off-piste, they might be a little bit more work, but if you're someone who finds themselves wanting to just rip up groomers and have that stable ski underfoot on firmer conditions, this is an excellent option.
They do you a little favor by tapering that metal in. It is full width, and then it tapers into the center here, leaving the edges, the sides of the tips here. They include a Baffatex material, which is like little stringers that they use in racing sails. And they do that in the tips and the tail. So just these edges of the back ends are cut out. That metal is replaced with a different type of material. So, if it was really full metal, that would be a handful. Like you were saying, not the best off-trail option. The fact that they do this gives you like a glimmer of hope, I think. But still, this is a highly metallic, very precise, ground-oriented instrument for linking carved turns. But in that realm, I think it's an extremely successful ski and really just a ton of fun.
And it just goes to show, I mean, it's all about where you find yourself skiing most and what you prefer. And definitely speaks to a lot of skiers out there. So
yeah, definitely more of that advanced expert skier with, with or without a racing background, but certainly some good heft and metal to that thing. But really just a lot of fun. Fischer's always done a great job, making a good race ski, good on-trail performer, and that's a great example of that in this category. Rossignol Experience 82 Ti. Again, kind of up there in the price spectrum, $749.95. But I think that Rossignol has made great strides over the years, especially with this new iteration of the Experience line. Really solid, stable ski. We're really starting to put these up there with the Stocklis in terms of overall poise and quality. But yeah, this thing's awesome. 2 sheets of metal in it, real thick sidewall underfoot here. You are, again, kind of looking at that front side performance as a strength, but they also kind of do the same thing that Fischer did by taking some material out and allowing for more, just a progressive rocker shape to make the initiation phase of the turn easier. But really, really solid and stable ski at 82 underfoot.
Yeah, still really versatile, but you have, like you were saying, that stability and edge grip underfoot from the metal, and really smooth turning initiation is something that really speaks to these skis for me, and really just overall damp, smooth ride on these. I mean, no vibration, chattering, or anything like that with these, and just a really, still, despite the, the strength and power that you're deriving underfoot, they're still really approachable skis.
Yeah, I found this comes in the 86 as well, not the TI version, and it also comes in an 82 basalt version. So they replaced the metal with basalt fibers. So if you're looking for a lighter, if you like this shape and style, looking for a lighter, a little bit more poppy energy, that basalt is a great option. But for more advanced skiers who are a little more comfortable on their edges, looking for something for higher speeds and more aggressive skiing, this 82 Ti is right up there with just a high-end premium product on this wall. And in kind of the industry as a whole. I think this has really become a standard for high-performance skiing for all mountain and frontside conditions. And it's a great job.
Absolutely, really blends it together nicely. I would say.
Next up on the wall here is Elan Wildcat 82C. Really, really fun option. Again, this is kind of the narrower version of the Wildcat 86. So they are doing a great job at making these asymmetric skis. I think that Elan is really onto something. They do it in their ripstick line. Like, those are great.
Love those skis.
Awesome all-mountain
Yep.
skis. You know, that technology, kind of that philosophy of building right-left specific skis filters really well into their more on-trail products. So this Wildcat 82C, you know, 82 underfoot. We do have a carbon laminate in here, and it does have this Amphibio TrueLine technology. So I don't know if it shows up that well on camera, but this is the left and this is the right. And there is this raised portion of material, and then it goes full width underfoot and then tapers again to the inside. So what that does is it puts more material on the inside edge. So when you're making a downhill turn with this right ski, you got more mass over the inside, giving you better grip, and then less over the outside, which makes for a smooth transition. It's really effective.
Very.
Like, you know, when you're skiing a ripstick, like, you can feel it. You can feel the smoothness of the ski, especially in the transition phase.
Absolutely.
I think that this magnifies it being more of a front side ski because you're really feeling the downhill ski more, especially on firmer snow and hard pack.
Yeah, absolutely. I was definitely a little hesitant just because it was brand new to me, and was curious to see if it was something that was as noticeable as I'd been hearing, and it truly is. And I could totally see in just like a narrower option, it just being a little bit more enhanced and more dramatic.
Yeah.
Really enhancing carving technique, and just, it's really energetic. It really provides a lot of like pop and liveliness to it. So you're not, you know, locked into these turns. You can really kind of hop in and out of them with a lot of precision and control. It makes for just a really enjoyable, you know, downhill performance ski.
Yeah, and I think you're getting a lot of that from this tail shape.
Yep.
So really kind of bowed out here at the end. This, you know, this one has a 12-meter turn radius, so it's pretty short. You know, definitely more of that slalom cut. And, you know, because it has that carbon in there, actually it still feels pretty stiff. So, you know, it's a pretty direct engagement. You know, we're talking about pretty much a lack of taper here. So very wide at the very ends of the ski, and that gives you really clean initiation. So every time you tip the ski up, it's really going to hit the snow quickly and find its own path, you know, through that radius, which I think a lot of these frontside skiers are really enjoying more.
Absolutely.
You know, and if you're spending a lot of your time on groomed terrain, you know, it just makes poor conditions a lot more fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's a huge part of this thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fantastic ski that I would recommend to a lot of skiers, but probably more intermediate to advanced, because if you're a beginner and you're not expecting that kind of lively instant response, you know, you might not enjoy that as much. But for someone who has, you know, a little bit more advanced technique, you can really really enjoy the liveliness and the responsiveness from these skis.
Yeah, and just under $450. I think this is a pretty good deal.
Absolutely.
You know, I don't think that this is I think that the amount of technology that you're getting for about $450 is pretty darn good.
Absolutely.
You know, no bindings on that one, but it's you know,
great deal.
Yeah, I think that the quality of the ski and the fact that they're borrowing a lot of that Amphibio and, you know, technology from Ripstick and other skis in their line, I think it makes a lot of sense.
I could see a lot of companies catching on to that, perhaps, because it's really proving to be, you know, a new whole technology in ski design, I feel.
Yeah, I've wondered why more people don't do that. And I think it's, you know, I think it's a challenge from a design and construction perspective, but if you can, you know, discern a noticeable difference between the performance, then why not?
Absolutely.
You know? This one also has some pretty interesting tech to it. This is a Dynastar, I'm going to mess this up.
You got it.
E4x4 5.
Yep.
Okay. not my favorite name
Yeah,
for a ski, but
it's a lot.
you know, when you get on these Dynastar frontside skis, you know, their 4x4 models run through the men's line as well, and this is a similar product. Very smooth, very interesting way they go about building their skis. They use more polyurethane in these than most skis, and we can talk about that when we get to E-Pro 85. So more material that's kind of like what's found in your 120 Flex ski boot along the edges. And that just gives it a unique feel to it. But nice dense wood core, way more of a front side shape in this ski than in the E-Pro. So it's interesting having two Dynastars up here and just kind of vastly different personalities.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the E-Pro is, you know, a little bit more, has a little bit more versatility, which we'll get to because of the shape. This is definitely more front side focused, but a really strong ski and really just a lot of fun too. I mean, I'm a big fan of Dynastar skis, and if you're someone who prefers a more front side oriented ski with a high performance ceiling, I mean, this is a great ski.
And the thing that sticks out to me on these is just the amount of camber underfoot.
Yeah, absolutely.
So lots of positive camber. You know, when you put them back to back, it's this energy built into the ski makes this thing super lively. They kind of use their own little version of what Black Crows used with these more three-dimensional shapes sticking out. So these arms, they kind of keep the edges intact. We see that on the tail as well. So more material over the edges, giving it that frame-like feel, really excellent grip, and tons of energy out of the camber of the ski.
Yeah, and the 3D design, it kind of allows for a wide range of turn shapes and styles.
Yeah.
So you can get, you know, those longer, more arcing turns, and then, you know, transition from that style to a quicker, more edge-to-edge, shorter turn radius. So.
Yeah, because whenever they're building material, they're also leaving things thinner. So thinner area in the shovel here allows you to get into the turn easier and just making it more versatile and variable.
It's an impressive ski.
Yeah.
Just the construction itself.
That one's kind of behind the sign there.
There we go.
There. This one's awesome. Nordica Santa Ana 84, $599. So definitely up there in that, you know, high quality level of the price range and performance to match. Different than other Santa Anas, this one certainly is more front side oriented. You know, we're definitely more used to seeing kind of that free ride sense in the tail, you know, with Santa Ana 88 and 93 and on up, but similar tip shape. So more of that floaty in the front, and then just a really traditional build otherwise. So wood core, metal in here, really grippy. It's definitely the carviest of the Santa Anas, and just a really good tip to tail ski. At 84, you know, we're kind of bumping up in the width, getting into that mid 80s range. This is kind of where versatility really starts to come into play.
Yeah, absolutely. And as the narrowest of the Santa Ana family, I mean, if you're someone who really is a big fan of the Santa Anas but want to be on piste more, but with the option to explore off piste, I mean, this is a fantastic ski. It has an incredibly responsive flex, but then an equal amount of stability and power. Really blends for me like stability and agility.
Yeah.
And then you have, you know, compared to the skis that we've already spoken about, I mean, you get a lot of rocker in the tip compared to the other skis. So you have that range of capabilities now. So if you want to, you know, spend the morning on groomers and just have that really nice edge grip and power, and then, you know, in the afternoon you're in a little bit softer snow conditions, the ski can take you there too, and you have the shape and profile that can allow for that.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said for that, you know, changing conditions aspect.
Yes.
I think you're right on there, and the fact that they can get this ski with metal under 1,500 grams, you know, speaks volumes of their engineering and design department. You know, they've had years of Enforcer and Santa Ana, you know, experience, so it's easy to see why, you know, kind of as the newest member of the Santa Ana family, they've taken it in a little bit of a different direction, and I think it's really a good thing. 1,420 grams. This ski rips on trail.
It's impressive.
Has that width for off-trail capabilities, and like you said, you're gonna get a full day out of this.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what happens.
Truly, yeah.
And I think that's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a great ski for an intermediate who wants to kind of venture more towards all mountain free ride skis, but aren't ready for the extra width. I mean, it's a really well-rounded, versatile width underfoot, I think, and then, like I already said, just the shape and profile allow for morning to afternoon, just all day reliability and performance.
Yeah, and it's funny because I think that some people still start to think that this is getting too wide for
Absolutely.
front
Yeah.
side, but when you get on them and feel that grip, I think it really comes to light that this has the construction and the shaping, even if it's a wider footprint overall, to still carve great turns.
Yeah, it really truly blurs the line between frontside and all mountain.
Yep.
And if you're looking for that, then this is a great option.
Totally. And I think we kind of take a little bit of a jump here, more into the free ride segment of things with this line Pandora 84. You're probably going to feel a little bit of a difference in the weight there.
Oh yeah.
1,362 grams, and it's 8 centimeters longer than that Santa Ana. Certainly doesn't have the same on-trail carving capabilities, but what it lacks in dampness, it makes up for in versatility, fun, free ride, playfulness. I think that touring has entered the chat with this one. Being able to have like a 50-50 hybrid ski that you can tour on and ski at the resort. I think that is just a huge bonus for this. And then we're just looking at a little bit softer of a flex. So more approachable, more fun, just a few extra kind of boxes that this thing checks versus more of that front side stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it speaks to, the target audience that's looking for that light, agile, nimble ski that, you can go bop around in the trees and the bumps, and, you have that more free ride personality than some of the other skis that we've been already talking about. But you don't, what is this underfoot? 80, it is 84?
Yep.
Okay. The names, they don't always
mean what they say.
But the 84 underfoot, I mean, that's like a sweet spot for all
Yeah.
mountain, and, you still have the ability to get on trail, and they're not going to be a carving ski necessarily, but really versatile.
Yeah. And a little bit more rockered than what we've seen. Still has that nice positive camber underfoot, but a little bit longer of that rocker profile. Just going to be, one of the better floaters on this wall. All things being equal, a lighter ski is going to float a little bit better. So it's great to see that from line. And this is an example of the narrowest of a free ride version versus the widest of an on-trail version. So definitely getting into that free ride capacity there.
And a really fun graphic.
I think we talked about this during the ski test, that line that the Pandora skis were just kind of a cut above.
Absolutely.
Yeah. A little bit more basic of a graphic, but no less no less effective of a ski. Volkl Yumi 84. Just a quick note, 449 on the line, so pretty good deal there. Jumping up to 649, and so what you're missing out on between these two is just a whole bunch of Volkl technology focused into this Yumi 84. This is kind of one of those skis that does everything really, really well. And we'll probably say that a couple more times before the day is through. But, just having that well-rounded nature, checking a ton of boxes. This does have their multi-layer wood core. We have a metal plate underfoot and then a glass frame. So there's fiberglass that runs around the frame. So similar to what we saw with the Black Crows, those arms extend. This goes all the way around in the tip and in the tail. So you're getting fiberglass frame all the way around, metal underfoot for good grip. And then we also get Volkl's 3D radius. So really interesting way of building a ski, really putting more emphasis on the skier and their ability to change turn shapes within the turn. I think that's what we've found is the most effective and best part of 3D radius.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you're on the mountain, you're finding yourself in various terrain and conditions, and to have the option of a variety of turn shapes and styles.
Yep.
I mean, transitioning from longer to shorter, I think, I mentioned with one of these other skis, it's really nice to have that option and that versatility.
And like mid-arc, that's what's cool about the Volkls, is that it does it mid-arc. You don't just have to decide on, I'm going to make long turns.
Absolutely, yeah.
Even within a single turn.
It's very intuitive.
Yeah, totally. Just about 1,400 grams, so pretty light, super energetic. Fiberglass is really known for having that snappy, character to it. And I think that this in a frame really makes a lot of sense for Volkl. But this is definitely high on my list of, if you've gotten through all this and you don't know what you want, like, get this one.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just a no-brainer.
It's an ideal strength to weight ratio, which is, I think, what you were speaking to,
Yeah.
the fiberglass. I mean, it's not super fatiguing, and I think just the way they approached it, speaking to the construction, it's just a really well-made ski. It's approachable but strong and stable, and and versatile.
And this is one of the more rockered or flatter overall profiles. There's really just not a whole lot of camber built in. A stark difference from what we saw with that Dynastar that had like an inch of positive camber underfoot. This is really more of a flatter ski, and that just makes for really easy turning. So super easy to get from edge to edge.
Super smooth.
On this Yumi 84. And like this ski, kind of like the Black Pearl, these Yumis have been around in one form or another for quite a while.
Yep.
And like my sister has one of the original versions of this and loves it.
Yeah.
Just loves it. And she skis all over Stowe and just couldn't ask for anything more. And
I take you anywhere ski, yeah.
Yep. This one, I would put this with Pandora for
absolutely
top graphic.
Yep.
This is the Liberty Evolv 84W. Liberty does an interesting job with their narrower skis. Mostly Liberty is kind of known for that more free ride oriented stuff. They're really well known for the Genesis and the Origin series. But these Evolv skis have really gotten a lot of traction over the past few years, and I think for good reason. They just have an interesting thing going on. Minimal taper. We talked about that with, which one? The Elan. So this ski shares a lot of shapes with the Wildcat in terms of it not having a whole lot of taper or rocker to it. So really more of that long effective edge front side mentality. Pretty squared off tail, nice and metallic back here. So you do get really good density back there. Finishes a turn really strong. Other than the shaping, the interesting thing here is the vertical metal technology. So they have 3 metal strips that run vertically through the ski to go along with like a blend of poplar and paulownia wood core and bamboo. So they really are throwing a lot of material in this thing. $599.99 on this one. I think that's a pretty good deal for this technology.
Absolutely, and that's a newer thing for these skis, right?
Newer.
Yeah.
They used to have 2 and went to 3.
Yep. Okay.
In this Evolv series, but we see it kind of with Rossignol. They had their line control technology, like Atomic had servo tech, and this is Liberty's answer to that. And so the main idea is that you're using less metal but getting the same kind of
stiffness,
performance. So it not only helps stiffen the ski this way, but it also prevents counterflexing, which really keeps the edges engaged in the snow. I think this is one of the most confident carvers on this wall.
Yeah, absolutely. But it still has that all-mountain freeride feel to it, which is just a nice blend. And then the vertical metal struts for me are like, I think it speaks to the torsional rigidity of the ski. So you can have, that stronger carving performance, but then just, with the shape, it's just a little bit more able to go off-piste and then still perform really well. So this is a great ski. I've skied the wider of the Evolvs and I don't know what the next one up is.
You probably were on the 90.
Yep. So, I mean, for someone who doesn't want to go up to that width and still have just that nice all-mountain front side blend, this is a great ski.
Yeah, I was on the men's version of this. It just substitutes Polonia. It takes the Polonia out. So a little bit denser wood in the men's version of this. And I remember skiing it in some pretty awful conditions at Waterville, like chunky snow on top of moguls. And
definitely
like
not ideal.
No one wanted to do it. And I'm like, I'll do it. This seems to be the perfect ski for this. And it was fine. You know, you think about like a more front side shape like this, you know, 84 underfoot, you want to stay far away from soft snow.
Right.
But I did not find that to be the case, you know, and just the fact that it's pretty quick and agile made up for any lack of width underfoot. So, you know, no need to go super wide on these skis. And, you know, I think it's a great job from Liberty for making this shape and construction really line up well. Very smooth and unique.
Yeah, very smooth.
If you haven't been on a Liberty with the bamboo wood in the core, I think it's worth it. They really do a good job. They make it like thicker overall. So this core thickness profile goes a long way in making you not feel anything under your foot. So very smooth and stable.
It's still really maneuverable.
Yep. Super quiet, you know, very much like that Stockli where you just don't hear anything.
Yes.
You know, it's on your feet, you're moving, you're like, I should be hearing something, but I'm not.
Yep.
And that's where that quality, you know, they use thick wood.
Yep.
Whereas Stockli uses thin metal. So just a slight difference in construction techniques.
Yep.
We've talked about this one a little bit earlier. This is the Dynastar E-Pro 85. This is a new ski for Dynastar for this year. You know, it used to be the M-Pro 85W, which was a totally different construction. They upped it. They really did some nice upgrades to it. $579.95. I still think that that's a pretty good deal for what you're getting on this thing. So whereas the wider 90 and 99 of the E-Pro use metal rocket frame technology, these use fiberglass. So this raised area here, which you'll never be able to see on camera, but Emily and I can feel it here. So central spine going to full width underfoot, and then staying kind of wide through the tail. We always talked about this with the other Dynastars as being like a reverse mullet style of ski, so more fun-loving and playful in the front, more floaty, and then more business-like in the back. So great grip, super carver for 85 underfoot, and then as we see with a lot of these other Dynastars, this tip rocker profile is very much freeride oriented. You know, this is an example of a narrow freeride version, but they also have good positive camber underfoot. So really unique blend. Obviously that camber comes through in both of these Dynastar skis, but with a more freeride oriented shovel. This thing really, it goes where you tell it to go. That's one of the things that we've noticed about these Dynastars, is that they just want to do what you tell it to do. So skier input is huge with this one. It's not like a tip and rip deal like the Evolv, but I think it's a great tree ski, awesome in the bumps, 1,530 grams, so it's not too heavy, and just a really nice build. You know, they do a great job with their hybrid wood core, poplar in the center wrapped in fiberglass, and then polyurethane on the sides. So more polyurethane on this one versus the E4x4. Another example of a quiet ski. You know, really interesting material there.
Absolutely, and I really love the reverse mullet comparison because it truly is perfect. Because I mean, it's really business in the tail. It's strong finish in the tail, but then the tips are just, I mean, you look at the ski and not expect it to have the front side performance that it does.
Right.
I mean, it does have this pretty dramatic shovel and a lot of rockers. So we're looking at a much more, I think, versatile front side ski. But with excellent carving technique and performance. And really, when you get the ski on edge, you have a pretty long effective edge. So really strong on piste, and then you know, you get into the heavier, you know, softer afternoon snow or softer powder in the woods, and you have this, you know, float in the front, and it's just a really awesome blend of qualities for, I mean, it could be a really great daily driver, I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
You know, I really like how, I like it when a ski can go from being fun and maneuverable into the trees, and then you're going to hop out for the bottom half of the trail.
Totally.
You know, within a run. I think that this is a very, very strong choice.
Absolutely.
And a really versatile ski. Does lots of different aspects and things that people generally enjoy.
Yeah.
You know, from off-piste to carving turns.
Yeah.
And like you said, you know, you're just getting a ton of rebound and energy out of the tail.
Yep.
You know, the fiberglass ends right about here. Which is right about where the rocker is going to begin. And, you know, that's no accident. You know, they do that on purpose so that you're getting the camber and the more material to line up, just giving you that. I mean, it's just a rocket ship out of the tail on these things.
Yep.
Really, really fun. Super versatile. You know, great upgrades for this ski for this year. So pretty psyched on that. Next up here, we got a K2 Mindbender 85. I think this kind of falls into that, you know, like we said 100 times, well-rounded category. There's not a whole lot of craziness going on in this. It's amazing. It achieves a similar effect to Yumi 84 in terms of well-roundedness, but it just goes about it a different way. $399.95 for this thing, so great deal. You know, for a flat ski that has a high performance ceiling, this is just a great deal. And we've come up with these in our bargain basement videos as well. You know, after a year or so, and they haven't sold, and we throw them on there, and then they go. And people love these things. Definitely one of the best, like, mogul, groomer, all mountain skis out there. It's not going to carve like we see in that Fischer or the Santa Ana, but it is a really, really well-rounded ski at 85 underfoot. It's amazing what they do with a pretty simple aspen wood core. Like we saw with some other skis, they do it through putting the camber in the ski. They're building the energy in there. Not too heavy, you know, 1,480 grams. You know, they're not really trying to make it light, so you end up getting a really good amount of stability. Let me just show that camber there. So anytime that you're building that energy into the ski, you're just getting a lot of pop back out of it. So nice rocker profile, really well-rounded, great floater, awesome in the bumps. You know, you kind of feel it with this nice shovel flex, but nothing crazy going on here, just a great overall ski.
Yeah, you know, I think that for someone, if someone were to come and ask me for, hey, I'm looking for an all-mountain ski that isn't necessarily super wide underfoot, is approachable and intuitive and can take me all over the mountain, I would probably steer them in this direction.
Yep.
It just has a really intuitive feel, and it's just, you know, has that shape and profile that allows for a lot of versatility and still has a high performance ceiling. Like you said, not going to be a carving ski necessarily, but one that can be a lot of fun all over the mountain, and not be, you know, fatiguing in any way. Just really maneuverable and agile, but is going to give you that nice responsiveness and stability.
I think after throwing all of those superlatives at this ski, you know, it's like the beauty, though, is in its simplicity.
Totally.
Like, it's a simple build. It's not complicated, but it's like utilitarian and fun.
Yep. Very user-friendly.
More superlatives there.
Yep.
You know, it's just an incredible balance. And when you put it in that under $400 category, I think it's just a rare commodity in the ski industry today.
Another one that, you know, from morning to afternoon, it's really going to just be there for you and be a reliable all-day ski. Yeah,
and we definitely see it with the TI versions of this as well. You know, the technology does filter down just in terms of that shape and profile and all-mountain nature, just with a really simplistic build, which is awesome. This one kind of takes it to the different end of the spectrum. Head in this Total Joy here, they really kind of put more technology into it. You know, this is the wider of the Joy series. Emily and I were just talking that it's interesting that the core, which is the narrowest of the free ride options, is all the way down there, whereas the Total Joy, which is the wider of the front side options, is on this side. So 85 underfoot definitely has that carving capability. They use, you know, that wood core, Karuba wood core, lightweight, carbon and graphene is just super stiff, very reactive. You know, when you go to hand flex this thing, it definitely gives you some pushback to it. They also make it pretty light. This does come with a system binding on it, so it is going to be a little bit heavier on the scale. But one of these weight shaving techniques is to angle this top sheet here. So they've really just kind of shaved an angle into it, making this thing kind of a trapezoidal shape. And by removing that material, they're just lightening the swing weight without taking something away from the stability and power of the ski. But a really accomplished wide carver.
Yep. Yeah, really energetic, nice poppy, responsive flex like you were just showing. So, you know, for someone who isn't quite ready for that feedback, it might be a little bit, but really just a fantastic carving ski, like you said, and just smooth turn initiation. I mean, it really just kind of goes where you want it to go, and pretty, you know, pretty directional, like for the most part, I would say. I mean, there's like, yeah, it's pretty flat in the tail, so you're going to get that strong finish. So if, you know, if you're someone who wants to have a little bit more energy and a quicker release from the tail, like in the bumps and trees, like we were talking about with the K2 and, you know, the Pandora, these are a little bit more business-like in the tail. But, yeah, just a really well-rounded ski. And what do we have for weight?
Just under 1,700 grams. We do have that plate on there. It's probably 200 grams. But it's amazing what these skis head with this Total Joy, the core, and can do without metal.
Yeah,
you know, these kind of carbon-powered skis, the Wildcat from Elan as well, you know, their use of carbon to mimic metal, I think, is just super effective.
Yeah.
You know, carbon's a little bit more energetic and poppy, not quite as damp. So you're not going to get the same feel as you get from Santa Ana or, you know, the Fischer, but still, for what it is, excellent energy, you know, just tenacious rebound and edge grip.
Yeah, and not everybody wants that heft from metal, and you get the stiffness and the feedback from the carbon, and it's just a really nice blend, and it's still really maneuverable, and yeah, great use of materials.
Yep, and you do get bindings, but you're going to pay for them $949. You know, if you're looking at it as a package deal, it's not like it's the worst deal in the world, but it is on the more expensive side of the spectrum, but that is reflected in that technology.
Yep.
This is another fun one that I think we can kind of bring up the 50-50 hybrid touring.
Absolutely.
Kind of like the Pandora 84. This is an Atomic Maven 86C. Twin in shape to the Maverick 88 Ti. They just take the metal out and put in carbon backbone in here. I think you were surprised when we flexed this thing earlier.
Yeah.
It's no joke, is it?
It's no joke, yeah. Yeah, and compared to, you know, the Mindbenders, which I own, you know, it's a little bit more of a stiff, you know, like has that stiffer response and feedback. But then you have, you know, the Atomic Horizon Tech tips and, you know, a little bit of a more dramatic rocker shape than some of the other ones that we've been focusing on. So, you know, you get that stability and that power from the flex, but then just the maneuverability and the playfulness of the tips is really what I've always loved about Atomic's use of the Horizon Tech.
Yeah, 1,380 grams, so quite light.
Yeah.
Another example of carbon being used to power the ski. I think it's really effective. They pair it well with their, you know, their construction technique, which is pretty interesting. We see this in all of the Maverick and Maven skis where they're running a sidewall not the whole way, so it's partial cap from where my fingers are to front and back. And then like you were saying with the rocker profile, you know, that lines up pretty cleanly with where the sidewall stops and it goes to full cap. So full cap, horizon tech, really floaty.
Very,
You know, I think both of us are bent Chetler skiers, and that horizon tech is, I mean, there's something to it.
Absolutely.
You know, like anything soft snow, it really works well. And then a little bit of, you know, longer tail rocker in here, not crazy splay or anything, but, you know, I think that the weight and the downhill performance really makes this thing an effective 50-50 touring ski.
Yeah.
Kind of like what we saw with the Pandora. And as we're getting wider, that's going to make the flotation all the more
and
better.
I stand corrected, Ben Chetler, not the Mindbender, was what I was.
Okay.
Yep. Mindbender was fresh on my mind, but yeah, great. I would definitely recommend that as a really fantastic hybrid ski for touring.
Yep.
Yep.
And then we're kind of shifting gears a little bit here. That Maven was $499, by the way, so not a bad deal at all. But we're getting more into the twin tip side of the spectrum. We got the ARW 86 from Armada coming up here, and just a really awesome choice. You know, we've said front side all mountain, free ride all mountain front side, and now we're park all mountain.
Yeah, first one that's really true twin.
Yeah, so this is your option if you're looking to spend most of your time in the park. Great choice. You know, we do have that twin tip shape, but it comes along with Armada's really nice construction. So any of their ARV or ARW skis, you know, get that nice dense wood core. We get full vertical sidewall underfoot, kind of a triple sidewall. You know, when Jeff and I did our twin tip comparison last week, that was kind of a big thing that we noticed about Armada was that they're using these kind of 3 steps of sidewall. So full sidewall underfoot, and then it goes to half cap to here, and then full cap in the very tips and tails.
Yeah, I noticed it immediately standing here.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting use of, yeah.
Well, at first I thought you were holding that thing upside down because I saw like a bunch of sidewall
Totally.
up top and not underfoot. But yeah, it's you have it the right way. But yeah, and then that kind of extends all the way around, you know, through the end. So if you're beginning park competition, but don't want to spend all your time there, if you're looking for one pair of skis to take you in the park and beyond, I find twin tips just eternally useful around here in the woods.
Absolutely.
You know, the first time I got on a twin tip in the woods and was able to turn up the hill, back down, and then go like a K-turn was just eye-opening for me.
Yep.
And I think that a lot of skiers that are, you know, looking to have fun and explore the mountain and then end up in the park, I think that this makes a great choice.
Yeah.
Really smooth, consistent flex, you know, like any park ski should, just a little bit more supple than what we see from, you know, stiffer skis like that Atomic Maven. But, you know, who doesn't love twin tips?
Yeah, I am right there with you. I mean, I was on twin tips for a very long time, and now I'm venturing more into the more directional skis. But, I mean, like you said, twin tips are a blast. If you're just a free ride focused skier who wants a park oriented ski, but not a dedicated park ski, like one that you can really have a lot of fun in the trees and the bumps and just really not be limited to one discipline on the mountain. And then the sidewalls really just, if you're on piste and you want to rip some turns on a groomer, I mean, you're going to have that stability and edge grip underfoot as well. So.
Yep. Yeah, 1,560 grams. That's kind of where that density of the wood comes into play that we've noticed with these Armadas, is that they're not just making a flimsy thing.
I was just going to say, yeah, there's definitely like lighter, more poppy, lively park skis that this has a little bit more density to it for sure. Yep. Which speaks to its just versatility and all mountain capabilities.
Yeah, they're really smooth. You know, it's not like this. It's not like you should preclude yourself from skiing this just because you think it's a soft ski. Yeah. Like there is some density to it. A lot of that has to do with the fact that park skis should be a bit more durable, so they are putting more, more power into it. But
it's going to reduce the chatter and the vibrations.
Yeah, for sure. Nope, it's great, and like pretty symmetrical in terms of that twin tip splay and rocker. Nice positive camber underfoot. No accident again. That rocker starts right where the cap begins, and then that pretty symmetrical twin tip splay as well. Really great for multi-directional riding and use. So, these ARV and ARW skis are super successful, and this is just a good extension of that.
Yep.
This kind of Volkl's version here, this is the Revolt 86. This is the same ski as the men's version. They come in 2 different graphics and sizes, but same build. $399.99. This ARW is $449, so a little bit less money on this Revolt 86. Another ski with a blend of sidewall. So between that Maven, the ARW, and now this, really seeing kind of the full span of full sidewall underfoot to full cap. In a twin tip and a park ski, you're looking for more flexibility and a lighter swing weight in the tips and tails, and you want that stability underfoot for all mountain skiing as well as rails and non-snow surfaces. But really cool ski. They use Volkl's multi-layer wood core, and just a great option. Again, all mountain freestyle.
Yep.
There's not a whole lot better than this.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I can see a lot of skiers being drawn to this around here. I mean, not always the deepest of conditions, so you want just a fun, playful, all mountain ski that you can take into the park, you can take into the bumps, another really well-rounded option.
Yeah, 1,540 grams. Again, these twin tips just have a little bit of extra oomph to them. They're keeping the wood in there instead of adding carbon. So really just having kind of that denser material come through. But yeah, really, really great option.
And I think a lot of skiers sometimes are turned away from twin tips because there's this association that they are for ski and switch or being in the park, and that's not always the case. So, I would definitely encourage more skiers to consider twin tips because they are a lot of fun. And, if you're someone who likes the energy of bouncing through the trees and not having that, strong finish in the tail like we focused on with some of these other skis, it's going to be really enjoyable and fun. And I think if I were to convince someone to get on twin tips, they might never turn back from it.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I've been on for decades.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not a park skier.
Right, exactly.
So there's nothing wrong with having that twin tip.
And I love the graphics.
Well, you have the top sheet and base, and then we have top sheet and base. So it's pretty. I think this is called their temple graphic.
Okay.
And that would make sense given the fact that there's a temple on there.
Sure would.
But yeah, pretty sharp looking skis.
Yeah.
I'm not like an enormous fan of the true multi-difference ones because I know I'm not supposed to be looking at my skis, but I can't help it. It just catches my eye.
It distracts you, yeah.
And we're going to finish with another 86 from Volkl. Again, interesting that I think a company makes 2 different 86s and they couldn't be more different.
Yeah.
This is the Blaze 86 W, $549.99. This kind of fits more into that touring category.
Yeah, it's very light.
Very, very light. Also quite rockered. We can get to that in a second. So 1,290 grams. So you're definitely in that touring zone with this ski. There are lighter skis, not many, but what's impressive about this is how strong and fun the downhill performance is.
Yep.
So it's funny with these Blazes, light wood core, pretty rockered. Again, get to that in a second, but when the Blaze 106 first came out, everyone was super hot on that ski. And then the 94, and people were like, nope, this is it. And now whenever we ski with Volkl and people that are in the industry that are on Volkls, this is their go-to ski.
This is now it, yep.
Yeah, this is now it. It doesn't have the metal underfoot that the 94 or the 106 has, but it does still have the 3D radius has suspension tips and tails, so there is some rubber material up here to kind of smooth out the vibrations. And then it does have that light multi-layer wood core. But let me just show this rocker profile, because it is pretty cool. So when you decamber the skis, the rocker basically starts all the way down here.
Wow, yeah.
And it's just super long, doesn't really get dramatic until the end, and then very similar in the tails. So starts right about here. And it's just low, it's super subtle, but it really makes a difference in terms of flotation and overall ease of use.
Yeah.
So pretty cool skis. Really good addition to this group because it brings that touring option into it while still being totally capable of being just a lightweight downhill ski.
Absolutely, yeah. And what you were saying is like there are going to be lighter touring skis, but sometimes when all you focus on is the weight and how light it is, you sacrifice some downhill performance, which to blend a lightweight feeling ski with the strong downhill performance of these, it's really ideal. And then, you know, if you're someone who isn't focused on touring and you're not looking for those qualities, it's great for a lighter weight skier or just someone who wants a more maneuverable, lighter ski with, soft snow capabilities for sure with the rocker and another really great, versatile, well-rounded ski.
Yeah, and definitely a good one to end on, I think, with that lighter weight option. So like, after all this, going from maybe the Fischer as the heaviest to this being on the same wall and twin tips, I think this really shows kind of one end of a multi-spectrum, you know, conglomerate of skis, which is pretty cool. So whether you're using this as a touring specific ski or a resort only option, you know, whether you're in the park all the time or never at all, or whether you're looking for just a straight up groomer ski, I think that those different levels highlight the usefulness of this category.
Totally.
But
yeah, because you think of the width underfoot and, you know, it's a lot more than that. It's just there's a lot more going on and a range of capabilities within, so.
So that's it. That was 20 women's skis ranging from 80 to 86 underfoot. Nice difference in pricing and ability and application. Really just a big range here. Skier type, you know, just lots of different stuff. But feel free to reach out to myself, Emily, anyone else in the company here if you have any questions, looking for a comparison to any of these. But I think that we agree that this is a super useful category and in reality something that most skiers should have, especially if they're like us and kind of ski in Vermont and have a lot more, you know, non-fresh snow days than fresh snow. So really great option.
Yeah.
Emily, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And we will see you guys out there on the hill.
Yeah, see ya.
Awesome.